The brain, the greatest enigma of modern science, governs all aspects of our existence, personality, thoughts, and feelings. Despite its complexity, most of its operations remain outside our consciousness. Imagine the vast array of activities occurring without our slightest awareness, the decisions we make, the emotions we feel, even the habits we form. This hidden universe plays a crucial role in how we seek and achieve our goals. At its core, our mental processes are not just a labyrinth of electrical impulses and chemical reactions, they shape how we face challenges and pursue objectives. For example, consider sleepwalking, where the brain acts as if it were awake while other parts remain in a state of rest. This phenomenon reveals a fascinating division in brain function. One part can be awake and performing actions while another remains in hibernation. The impact of this on our ability to achieve goals becomes more evident when we reflect on how rest and awareness influence our productivity and focus. The phenomenon of brain division is even more revealing. Patients who have undergone surgeries to separate the brain hemispheres show how these two parts can operate independently, despite being connected. The disconnection between these hemispheres reveals how our thinking can be fragmented yet integrated simultaneously. This sheds light on how we balance different aspects of our lives and goals, suggesting that understanding our internal divisions may be crucial for a more effective pursuit of our objectives. Our brain also makes use of an emotional thermometer, the insula, and a behavioral thermostat, the prefrontal cortex. The impact of guilt, for instance, illustrates how our emotions shape decisions and actions. This influence is not merely theoretical, it manifests directly in how we approach and tackle our daily challenges. The sense of control we believe we have over our choices is often just the surface of a much deeper and more complex process that governs our pursuit of goals and personal fulfillment. Chapter 1: The Unconscious Brain. The unconscious brain, that vast, uncharted territory within us, harbors the deepest secrets of our motivations and actions. Within this hidden realm, countless processes shape our lives in ways we seldom comprehend. At the core of this complexity is the pursuit of goals and the illusion of control we believe we have over our choices and decisions. When we talk about the unconscious, we are referring to a domain where most brain operations occur without our awareness. This territory controls everything from our most ingrained habits to the subtlest emotional reactions. Largely, these invisible operations determine our behavior and, consequently, our success in achieving goals. While we may consider ourselves rational beings governed by logic and conscious intent, the truth is that our unconscious is the true conductor behind the scenes. It choreographs our actions in ways we rarely notice, guiding us toward the goals we set or diverting us from them without our knowledge. This hidden dimension of the brain has a significant influence on our goal pursuit. When we set a goal, we often believe we are acting purely based on conscious will. However, a substantial part of this process is driven by the unconscious. It is this part of the brain that stores our beliefs, past experiences, and repressed emotions, all silently influencing our trajectory. Imagine, for instance, an individual who wants to change careers. While the decision may seem conscious, unconscious factors such as fear of the unknown, past experiences of failure or success, and even deeply rooted beliefs about self-efficacy can shape this choice. The illusion of control is a fascinating aspect of this scenario. We believe we have full command over our actions and decisions, but this confidence is often a mirage. Research shows that many of our choices are, in fact, influenced by factors we don't consciously perceive. An intriguing example comes from studies on the so-called mindware theory. This theory suggests that our brain creates coherent narratives to justify actions that have already been unconsciously decided. In other words, we do something, and then our conscious mind invents a justification for this action, creating the illusion that the decision was deliberate. Consider the situation of an entrepreneur who decides to launch a new product. He may believe that this decision resulted from a rational market analysis and a careful assessment of risks. However, unconscious factors such as the need to prove his worth, social pressures, or even a repressed desire to outshine a rival may have been the true motivators. The entrepreneur may not be aware of these influences, but they play a crucial role in his decision-making process. Another notable example is the study of the influence of the unconscious on moral decisions. Research shows that our ethical choices are often shaped by unconscious processes. When confronted with a moral dilemma, we tend to respond quickly, and these quick responses are generally driven by unconscious emotions and intuitions. Only afterward do we use conscious logic to justify our actions. This illustrates how the unconscious brain not only influences our goals and decisions but also shapes our moral and ethical identity. Consciousness and unconsciousness operate in a delicate balance. Being conscious means having an active awareness of our thoughts and actions, while the unconscious encompasses everything that occurs without our direct perception. A revealing example of this duality is anesthesia. Under anesthesia, we lose complete consciousness, but our body continues to function, regulated by unconscious processes. The brain maintains control of vital functions such as breathing and circulation without our awareness. This state demonstrates the ability of the unconscious brain to maintain control in situations where the conscious mind is completely deactivated. Anesthesia is a mirror that shows us how little conscious control we truly have over our bodies and minds. When we wake up from anesthesia, our consciousness gradually returns, but during the period of unconsciousness, the brain continues to operate in the background. This phenomenon highlights how essential the unconscious is for our survival and daily functioning. In terms of goal pursuit, this suggests that we often advance towards our objectives not only through conscious willpower but also due to unconscious processes that push us in the desired direction. Another fascinating aspect is how the unconscious can be trained to aid in goal achievement. Techniques such as visualization and self-affirmation are powerful precisely because they operate at the unconscious level. When we repeatedly visualize a goal achieved, we are training our unconscious to accept this reality as possible and desirable. This training can increase our motivation and focus, aligning our unconscious processes with our conscious goals. Hypnosis is another technique that explores the power of the unconscious. Under hypnosis, individuals can be suggested to adopt new behaviors or abandon harmful habits. This occurs because hypnosis directly accesses the unconscious, bypassing the critical barriers of the conscious mind. It is proof that by understanding and manipulating unconscious processes, we can significantly influence our behavior and, consequently, our ability to achieve goals. There is also the question of how the environment influences the unconscious brain. Studies show that our surroundings can deeply affect our unconscious processes, influencing our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. A chaotic environment can increase unconscious stress and anxiety, while an organized and calming environment can promote mental clarity and concentration. This has direct implications for goal pursuit, as adjusting our environment can create more favorable conditions for success. Neuroscience also reveals that repetition is key to influencing the unconscious. When we repeat an action or thought, we are reinforcing specific neural pathways in the brain. Over time, these pathways become stronger and more automatic. This is the principle behind habit formation. To achieve goals effectively, it is crucial to understand that the conscious repetition of desirable actions can eventually train the unconscious to adopt these behaviors automatically. In the context of life goals and objectives, the role of the unconscious is often underestimated. We frequently focus only on conscious strategy, planning, analysis, and execution. However, it is the unconscious that can provide the driving force to persevere in the face of obstacles and maintain motivation over time. It is like an underground current that sustains and directs the flow of our progress, even when we are unaware of it. Chapter 2: The Brain and Sleep. Sleep is one of the most fundamental and, at the same time, enigmatic processes of the human brain. Since ancient times, sleep has intrigued philosophers, scientists, and indeed anyone who has felt the devastating effects of a bad night's sleep. Sleep is not just a period of passive rest but a highly active and complex state essential for the healthy functioning of the brain. Adequate sleep plays a crucial role in memory maintenance. During the day, we are bombarded with an immense amount of information. However, it is during sleep that the brain organizes, processes, and consolidates this information. Neuroscience studies show that memories are strengthened and solidified while we sleep, a process that occurs predominantly during slow-wave sleep and REM sleep. Lack of sleep not only impairs the ability to form new memories but also affects the retrieval and reinterpretation of old memories, making them more susceptible to distortions. The ability to make decisions is another cognitive function deeply affected by sleep. The mental clarity needed to evaluate options, weigh consequences, and choose the best course of action relies heavily on a well-rested brain. Research reveals that sleep deprivation can lead to impulsive decisions, often poorly calculated, due to decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for planning and executive control. Without adequate sleep, discipline and focus, essential elements for achieving long-term goals, are compromised. Sleep cycles play distinct but interdependent roles in brain health. Slow-wave sleep, also known as deep sleep, is characterized by slow, synchronized brain waves. This stage is crucial for physical and mental recovery, allowing the body to repair tissues and the brain to eliminate toxins accumulated during the day. REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, is associated with vivid dreams and is essential for emotional regulation and cognition. The alternation between these cycles throughout the night ensures that different aspects of brain processing are addressed, from memory consolidation to mood and behavior regulation. Productivity is directly influenced by the quality and quantity of sleep. People who sleep well have a greater ability to concentrate, faster reasoning, and better performance in complex tasks. Sleep deprivation, on the other hand, is associated with a decrease in cognitive processing speed, an increase in errors, and an overall reduction in effectiveness. This applies not only to intellectual tasks but also to physical activities where motor coordination and quick response are crucial. The effects of sleep deprivation go beyond physical fatigue. Chronic deprivation can lead to serious mental health problems, such as depression and anxiety. This occurs because lack of sleep disrupts the balance of neurotransmitters in the brain, affecting emotional stability. Studies indicate that people suffering from insomnia are more likely to develop mood disorders and that recovery from such conditions is significantly more difficult without adequate sleep. It is intriguing to think about how sleep, a state of apparent inactivity, can be so vital for our most complex functions. During sleep, the brain undergoes a series of regenerative processes that could not occur during wakefulness. Neural activity during REM sleep, for example, is almost as intense as during wakefulness, albeit with a different purpose. This activity is related to the consolidation of motor and cognitive skills, reinforcing the idea that sleep is not just for rest but for preparation for new challenges. The relationship between sleep and decision-making is particularly fascinating. Sleep deprivation affects the brain's ability to access and process critical information for rational decision-making. Studies with positron emission tomography, PET, show that lack of sleep reduces activity in the frontal lobe, the brain area responsible for risk assessment and planning. This leads to increased impulsive emotional responses instead of rational and considered responses. In work contexts, this can mean the difference between the success and failure of a project, between staying calm or losing patience in a crucial negotiation. Moreover, sleep plays a vital role in creativity. Many of our best ideas and solutions to complex problems arise after a good night's sleep. During REM sleep, the brain makes new and unexpected connections between ideas, something that would be difficult during wakefulness. This ability to think outside the box is one of the main reasons why it is common to hear stories of inventions and discoveries made during or after sleep. Integrating seemingly unrelated information into a cohesive whole is facilitated by sleep, reinforcing the idea that sleeping well can be a powerful tool for innovation. Sleep deprivation has profound adverse effects on the ability to focus. Lack of sleep affects glucose production in the brain, reducing the energy available to perform tasks requiring prolonged concentration. This explains why it is so difficult to maintain attention on a long report or lecture when we are tired. Additionally, sleep deprivation increases cortisol production, the stress hormone, which can exacerbate feelings of tiredness and difficulty concentrating. Sleep also plays a fundamental role in regulating our metabolism and maintaining a healthy weight. Sleep deprivation can alter the production of hormones that control hunger, such as leptin and ghrelin, leading to increased appetite and unhealthy food choices. This can create a vicious cycle where poor eating and lack of sleep feed into each other, resulting in overall poor health. The impact of sleep on physical health is undeniable. Muscle recovery and protein synthesis predominantly occur during deep sleep. Athletes, for example, need more sleep than the average person to allow their bodies to recover from physical exertion. But even for those who do not engage in intensive sports, sleep is crucial for maintaining a robust immune system. During sleep, the body produces cytokines, which help fight infections, inflammations, and stress. Therefore, sleep deprivation can lead to increased susceptibility to illnesses. The connection between sleep and emotional well-being is undeniable. Lack of sleep can amplify negative emotional responses to stimuli, making us more reactive and less capable of handling daily stress. This phenomenon is linked to the emotional processing that occurs during REM sleep. During this stage, the brain reprocesses emotional experiences, helping us deal with traumas and reinforcing positive memories. Without adequate sleep, we lose this ability to rebalance our emotions, which can lead to a downward spiral of mood and behavior. Chapter 3: Brain Division. The human mind is a labyrinth of complexities, with each cerebral hemisphere performing unique yet interconnected functions. The fascinating area of study on brain division surgery, also known as corpus callosotomy, sheds light on the nuances of how our hemispheres function autonomously yet collaboratively. This procedure, performed on patients with severe epilepsy to interrupt communication between the two sides of the brain, has revealed a myriad of insights into the duality of the mind. When the corpus callosum, the bridge connecting the left and right hemispheres, is severed, something extraordinary happens. The hemispheres begin to operate independently, almost as if two minds coexist within one head. This phenomenon, initially explored in depth by neuroscientists Michael Gazzaniga and Roger Sperry, brought to light the capacity of each hemisphere to function in isolation, each with its own perceptions and intentions. Imagine a divided mind, where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, literally. In one of Gazzaniga's experiments, patients with split brains were instructed to draw different shapes with each hand simultaneously. Without communication through the corpus callosum, the hands operated independently, drawing without interference from each other. This autonomy not only illustrates the functional independence of the hemispheres but also the complexity of their interactions. The left hemisphere, traditionally associated with logic, language, and analytical thinking, has shown to be responsible for the ability to explain and rationalize behaviors and actions. It is the hemisphere that verbalizes, seeks patterns, and logic in everything around. When separated, it still tries to make sense of the actions of the right hemisphere, often creating coherent, albeit fictitious, narratives to justify behaviors it did not initiate. Conversely, the right hemisphere, with its affinity for spatial perception, pattern recognition, and emotional processing, revealed a unique capacity to act and respond without the need for verbalization or explicit logic. This side of the brain, though silent, is deeply intuitive, capturing nuances and emotions that the left hemisphere might overlook. The separation of hemispheres leads us to reflect on the importance of integrating these different modes of thinking in the pursuit of our goals. Logic and analysis are essential for planning and structuring our objectives, but intuition and emotional perception are equally crucial for navigating life's complexities and adapting to unforeseen changes. The experiments by Michael Miller and Michael Gazzaniga deepen this understanding by showing how each hemisphere can operate independently yet contribute to a unified experience. In a famous experiment, a patient was shown the word Texas only to the right hemisphere, which cannot verbalize. However, he could draw a cowboy hat with his left hand, demonstrating that while the right hemisphere couldn't speak, it still understood and processed the visually and culturally relevant information. This duality is a powerful metaphor for the pursuit of goals and objectives. Often, we focus too much on a single mode of thinking, whether it be ruthless logic or pure intuition, and forget that true effectiveness comes from the harmonious integration of both. The ability to balance analytical reasoning with intuitive perception can lead to more comprehensive and innovative solutions, allowing us to adapt and thrive in diverse circumstances. The implications of this cerebral duality are profound. When considering that each hemisphere can function autonomously yet still contribute to the perception of a single identity, we begin to appreciate the complexity of our minds. This leads us to question, how much of our daily decisions and actions are genuinely integrated and conscious? And how much results from independent processes operating below the surface of our awareness? Studies on brain division also highlight the flexibility and resilience of the human brain. Even when disconnected, the hemispheres find ways to communicate indirectly through behavioral and environmental cues. This adaptability suggests that our mind is more malleable than we imagine, capable of finding new forms of integration and balance even in the face of significant challenges. In the pursuit of our goals, this translates to the need to cultivate both structure and flexibility. We need well-defined plans, but also the openness to adjust these plans based on new information and intuitions. Excessive rigidity can make us vulnerable to inevitable changes, while flexibility without direction can lead us down scattered paths. True success lies in finding the balance between these two extremes, allowing logic and intuition to work together. The experiments by Gazzaniga and Miller continue to inspire new research and challenge our perceptions of the human mind. They remind us that while we may value clarity and reason, we must not underestimate the power of intuitive and emotional perception. Our minds are, in essence, a tapestry of interconnected processes, where each thread contributes to the entirety of our experience. Chapter 4: Emotions and Decisions. In the vast and intricate universe of the human mind, emotions play a fundamental, often underestimated role in decision-making. The science of emotions reveals how feelings such as guilt can shape our choices in unexpected and profound ways. In a scenario where rational decisions are often idealized, the reality is that our emotions are always present, influencing and sometimes guiding our actions. Studies with economic games offer a fascinating window into understanding this dynamic. A striking example is the ultimatum game, where two participants must divide a sum of money. One player makes an offer, and the other can accept it or reject it, resulting in both receiving nothing. Logic suggests that any offer, however small, should be accepted, as it is better than nothing. However, emotions come into play, and offers perceived as unfair are often rejected. The sense of injustice and the guilt associated with accepting an unequal offer motivate rejection, even if it means losing any gain. These emotional decisions are not confined to games. In our personal and professional lives, feelings such as guilt can influence our choices in subtle but significant ways. For instance, a professional might take on an additional project not out of ambition or gain but out of guilt for declining a colleague's request for help. Similarly, personal goals can be affected by the guilt of not meeting others' expectations, leading to decisions that may not align with our true objectives. Within the brain, the insula and the prefrontal cortex play crucial roles in regulating these emotions and making decisions. The insula, often referred to as the thermometer of emotions, monitors and evaluates our emotional states. It detects feelings of aversion, such as disgust when seeing something repulsive, but also more complex emotions like guilt and empathy. This emotional thermometer helps us recognize and respond to the emotional nuances of our experiences, directly influencing our choices. The prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, acts as the thermostat of behavior, regulating and moderating our emotional responses. This internal regulator is responsible for planning, impulse control, and the ability to make rational decisions. When balanced with the insula, it allows our choices to be guided by a healthy mix of emotion and reason. However, if one of these brain areas dominates, the balance is lost, resulting in impulsive or overly rational decisions that may ignore important emotional context. Take, for example, a situation where an individual must choose between two job offers. The first is highly paid but in an environment that conflicts with their personal values, generating a sense of guilt for prioritizing money over personal satisfaction. The second offer is less lucrative but aligns with their principles and passions. The insula may amplify the guilt and emotional discomfort of choosing the first option, while the prefrontal cortex may try to rationalize this choice with arguments of financial security and career advancement. The real challenge lies in balancing these internal forces to make a decision that harmonizes both emotional and rational aspects. The importance of this balance becomes even more evident in high-risk, high-pressure situations common in corporate environments. Strategic decisions involving millions of dollars and the future of many employees cannot be based solely on cold data and analysis. Understanding the emotional implications and considering human reactions are vital for sustainable success. Effective leaders are those who can balance rational analysis with empathy and emotional sensitivity, creating strategies that not only maximize profits but also inspire and motivate their teams. The ability to balance emotion and reason is a skill developed over time, often through experience and conscious reflection. Practices such as meditation and self-observation can help strengthen this ability, allowing greater self-control and better integration of emotional states. By understanding how our emotions influence our decisions, we can begin to see the value of giving space to these feelings instead of suppressing them in the name of rationality. The role of the insula and prefrontal cortex is also critical in conflict resolution situations. Imagine a dispute between colleagues over the direction of an important project. The insula can detect feelings of frustration and anger, while the prefrontal cortex tries to maintain composure and find a logical solution. A successful balance between these two systems can lead to a creative and mutually beneficial solution, where emotions are recognized and respected but do not dominate conflict resolution. In personal relationships, this balance is equally crucial. Decisions about the future of a relationship, for example, often involve a complex mix of emotions and logic. The insula can signal feelings of love and connection, while the prefrontal cortex evaluates long-term compatibility and potential challenges. The ability to integrate these perspectives can lead to healthier and more satisfying decisions, both for individuals and for the relationship as a whole. The journey to achieving personal and professional goals is filled with big and small decisions, each influenced by a delicate balance between emotion and reason. By recognizing and honoring the role of emotions in our choices, we can make more authentic and aligned decisions with our true values. This balance does not mean suppressing emotions but integrating them in a way that enriches our reasoning and judgment. Chapter 5: Trauma and Heredity. The human mind, in all its complexity, is profoundly shaped by our experiences. Traumas, in particular, have a lasting and multifaceted impact that goes beyond the individual, reverberating across generations. This phenomenon, both intriguing and unsettling, reveals the capacity of trauma to alter not only the brain's biology but also to influence future lineage. Understanding these changes is crucial for overcoming personal obstacles and achieving our goals. The impact of trauma is vast, and its implications are profound. Traumatic experiences, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, trigger a series of neurobiological responses that can reconfigure the brain. These alterations can result in increased sensitivity to stress, emotional and behavioral difficulties, and a predisposition to mental disorders. These changes are not merely temporary, they can solidify, forming a foundation upon which future behaviors and reactions are built. Imagine a person who experienced a significant traumatic event in childhood. This trauma can create invisible scars in the brain, altering how it responds to stress and processes emotions. The amygdala, a central structure in the brain's fear response, may become hyperactive, while the hippocampus, responsible for memory and learning, may shrink. These changes shape how the individual reacts to future stressful situations, potentially hindering the ability to maintain the calm and mental clarity necessary for rational decision-making. But the influence of trauma does not end with the individual who experiences it. Emerging studies in epigenetics, the field exploring how behaviors and environment can cause changes affecting gene expression, suggest that these alterations can be passed on to future generations. Here, the work of neuroscientist Bianca Jones-Marlin becomes particularly revealing. In her research with mice, Marlin explored how traumas can induce biological changes that are inherited by offspring, affecting their biology and behavior. In the laboratory, mice were exposed to a specific odor paired with a mild electric shock. This traumatic experience led to changes in the mice's brains, particularly in how neurons in the olfactory bulb responded to the odor. More surprisingly, the descendants of these mice, who had never experienced the shock, exhibited increased sensitivity to the same odor. These findings suggest that trauma can induce epigenetic changes, which are then inherited by the next generation, predisposing them to similar emotional and behavioral responses. This phenomenon sheds new light on how we understand the transmission of traumas and their implications. The idea that our ancestors' experiences can influence our behavior and emotional responses adds a layer of complexity to our understanding of identity and behavior. For those seeking to achieve life goals, this means that the obstacles they face may not only be the result of their individual experiences but also an emotional and biological legacy passed down through generations. This heritage of trauma is not an inescapable destiny but rather a challenge to be understood and overcome. Recognizing that obstacles may have deep roots allows for a more compassionate and informed approach to healing and personal growth. Coping strategies, therapy, and interventions that address both conscious and subconscious levels can help dismantle negative patterns rooted in trauma. However, recognizing these hereditary influences also highlights the importance of creating positive and supportive environments for future generations. Science suggests that just as traumas can be transmitted, positive and empowering experiences can also have a lasting impact. Cultivating resilience, promoting mental and emotional health, and building supportive relationships can not only benefit the individual but also establish a healthier foundation for their descendants. A person's life trajectory is not just a linear sequence of events but a tapestry woven with threads of past, present, and potentially future experiences. Past traumas can create knots and tangles that complicate the journey, but with understanding and effort, these knots can be undone. Exploring traumas and their hereditary implications is not merely an academic exercise but a practical tool for navigating and overcoming challenges that arise in the path to achieving personal and professional goals. Resilience emerges as a crucial quality in this journey. The ability to recover and grow from adverse experiences is deeply influenced by biological and environmental factors. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and form new connections throughout life, offers hope. Even if trauma has left deep marks, the brain can heal and adapt, especially when supported by effective therapeutic interventions and a supportive environment. The intersection between trauma, heredity, and neuroscience opens a vast and intriguing field of exploration. Each discovery about how experiences can be transmitted across generations challenges and expands our understanding of human nature. It forces us to reconsider the extent of our responsibility not only to ourselves but also to future generations. The choices we make, the experiences we cultivate, and the ways we deal with trauma have the potential to resonate far beyond our own lives. Bianca Jones Marlin and other researchers in this field remind us that science is both a mirror and a lantern. It reflects the complexities of our human condition and illuminates paths toward a more understanding and compassionate future. By exploring the mechanisms through which traumas are transmitted and ways to mitigate their effects, we gain tools to not only face our own challenges but also pave a more resilient path for those who come after us. Ultimately, the study of trauma and heredity invites us to a deeper reflection on who we are and how we got here. It challenges us to recognize the invisible forces that shape our lives and to act consciously to break negative cycles and build a legacy of resilience and growth. By facing our traumas with courage and compassion, we not only transform our own lives but also create a lasting impact that can benefit future generations. Chapter 6: The Illusion of Unity. The human mind is a spectacle of complexity, an orchestra of mental processes that somehow results in the sensation of a cohesive self. This phenomenon, often accepted without question, is actually an illusion skillfully created by our brain. Although our subjective experience tells us that we are a single entity, the truth is that we are a conglomerate of systems, each performing distinct functions, often without our awareness. The concept of a unitary self is deeply rooted in our perception of identity. We feel there is a continuity in our experiences, a consistency that defines us as individuals over time. However, this sense of unity is largely a construction. The brain, with its multiple regions and functions, works tirelessly to create a coherent narrative of who we are. But this narrative is built from fragments, memories, perceptions, emotions, and thoughts that the brain integrates in a way that seems fluid and continuous. Experiments conducted by neuroscientists like Yuri Maus have revealed how malleable this sense of agency is. In one study, participants were asked to perform simple actions while their brains were monitored. Using transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, researchers could induce involuntary movements. When asked about the origin of these movements, volunteers often believed they had full control over their actions, even when they did not. This highlights how easily our sense of control can be altered, raising questions about the true nature of agency. The perception of a cohesive self has profound implications for goal setting and self-awareness. When we believe we are a single, continuous entity, we tend to see our goals and ambitions as reflections of this unity. However, recognizing that we are a mosaic of impulses, desires, and influences can change our approach. For example, understanding that different parts of our brain may have conflicting motivations can help us better navigate decisions and commitments, balancing rationality and emotion more effectively. Studies on the manipulation of agency also reveal something crucial about our true motivators. We often believe that our actions result from conscious and deliberate decisions. However, the reality is that many of our behaviors are driven by unconscious processes. The illusion of control created by our brain is essential for our sense of autonomy, but it is important to recognize that we do not always have as much control as we think. Consider the setting of personal goals. We believe our objectives are chosen based on a clear and rational understanding of what we want. However, many of these goals may be influenced by factors we do not consciously perceive: social expectations, cultural pressures, old memories, or unresolved emotions. By recognizing the fragmentation of our mind, we can begin to question the origins of our desires and aspirations. This does not mean we should abandon our goals, but rather that we can approach them with greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of our underlying motivations. This perspective is especially relevant in decision-making. We believe our choices result from careful evaluation of available options. However, studies have shown that many decisions are made almost automatically, with our brain justifying them retrospectively. This understanding can be liberating, knowing that not all our actions result from a deliberate process. We can allow ourselves some flexibility and kindness towards our failures and inconsistencies. Yuri Maus' experiments highlight another fascinating facet of the illusion of unity: the brain's ability to create a sense of continuity and cohesion even amid fragmentation. When movements are artificially induced, and individuals believe they have control over these movements, we see the brain in action, weaving a narrative that makes sense. This mechanism is likely an evolutionary adaptation, allowing us to function effectively in a complex and unpredictable world. Integrating these findings into our daily lives can transform how we approach our goals and challenges. By accepting the inherent fragmentation of the mind, we can begin to see goal pursuit not as a linear and coherent journey but as a dynamic process involving multiple aspects of our identity. This can help us be more adaptable and resilient, adjusting our goals as necessary and accepting that changes in direction are a natural part of personal growth. Furthermore, recognizing the illusion of unity can help us cultivate greater empathy for ourselves and others. We all carry within us a multiplicity of voices and influences, and understanding this can make us more compassionate towards others' struggles and inconsistencies. This empathy can be a powerful ally in building stronger relationships and creating a supportive environment that facilitates the pursuit of common goals. The myth of the unitary self does not diminish our ability to achieve great things. On the contrary, it offers us a richer and deeper understanding of who we are and how we operate. This new perspective can empower us to make more informed and authentic decisions, aligned with a more comprehensive understanding of our true motivators. Chapter 7: Creativity and Control. At the heart of the human mind lies a wellspring of innovation and ingenuity that has fascinated scientists and artists for centuries: creativity. This unique capacity to generate new ideas, solve problems in original ways, and envision the world from novel perspectives is one of the most distinctive traits of our species. But what truly happens in the brain when we are being creative? Groundbreaking studies by Charles Limb offer intriguing insights into the neurological mechanisms of creativity, especially during improvisation. Imagine a jazz musician creating a melody on the spot. Without a score to guide him, he relies on his ability to improvise, connecting notes and rhythms in real time. During these sessions, something remarkable happens in his brain. Limb, a neuroscientist and saxophonist, investigated these processes using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI. His studies revealed that during improvisation, certain areas of the brain associated with conscious control and self-evaluation, specifically, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, show a significant decrease in activity. In contrast, regions related to personal expression and the fluency of ideas, such as the medial prefrontal cortex, become more active. This deactivation of the prefrontal cortex seems to be key to creativity. When we are in a state of creative flow, our mind allows ideas and associations to emerge freely, without the scrutiny and criticism that typically accompany conscious thought. This state is essential not only for artistic production but also for problem-solving and innovation in various areas of life. The ability to let go of conscious control is crucial for accessing this creative potential. But how does this apply to goal setting and achievement? In a world that values structure, meticulous planning, and logic, creativity can seem like a luxury. However, it is precisely this ability to think outside the box that can lead to innovative solutions and success in our objectives. By allowing our mind to explore possibilities without the constraints of linear thinking, we open the door to new and unexpected approaches that can be more effective. Balancing control and freedom is a constant challenge. Planning and structure are essential for maintaining focus and direction in our goals. However, excessive rigidity can stifle creativity and limit our potential. The key is to find a dynamic balance, where we can alternate between moments of conscious control and periods of creative freedom. The practice of improvisation in artistic contexts can serve as a model for other areas. For example, in corporate environments, brainstorming sessions where all ideas are welcomed without immediate criticism can foster a culture of innovation. Similarly, in personal projects, allowing oneself time to explore different approaches and solutions without the pressure of immediate results can lead to significant discoveries. The neuroscience of creativity also teaches us about the importance of mental and emotional states in the creative process. Being relaxed and in an environment that encourages free expression can facilitate the deactivation of the prefrontal cortex, allowing creativity to flow. This implies that to achieve our goals, we should focus not only on hard work and discipline but also on creating conditions that favor creative thinking. Charles Limb's insights into the deactivation of the prefrontal cortex during improvisation invite us to reconsider how we approach achieving our goals. Instead of seeing creativity as the opposite of control, we can understand that both are complementary. The ability to plan and structure is vital, but equally important is the ability to let our mind explore without restrictions. This balance can be the key to unlocking our maximum potential. Exploring creativity also leads us to greater self-understanding. By recognizing the moments when we need structure and when we should let freedom take over, we cultivate greater self-awareness. This understanding of ourselves allows us to adjust our approaches as needed, adapting to the specific demands of each situation. The role of the environment in creativity cannot be underestimated. Places that inspire, offer new stimuli, and allow expression without judgment are powerful catalysts for innovation. Therefore, when setting our goals, we should consider not only what we want to achieve but also where and how we position ourselves to achieve those goals. Environments that promote curiosity and exploration can be crucial for unlocking new ideas and solutions. The integration of control and creativity is a delicate dance. It requires a deep understanding of when to apply each approach and the flexibility to switch between them. In many cases, the best solutions and ideas arise precisely because we allow our mind to wander, explore, and connect with aspects of our experience that pure logic would not access. the implications of this integration go beyond personal fulfillment. In professional contexts, leaders who understand and promote this combination of structure and freedom are often the most successful in cultivating innovative and resilient teams. They know when to provide guidance and when to allow their teams to explore solutions autonomously. This leadership style not only fosters creativity but also strengthens engagement and motivation. When considering our goals and how we approach them, it is essential to remember that creativity is not a gift exclusive to artists. We all have the capacity to be creative, to find new ways to solve problems, and to envision the future. This capacity can be nurtured and developed, especially when we recognize the importance of letting go and allowing our brain to operate in its most fluid and natural state. The study of creativity in the brain offers a window into a fundamental aspect of our humanity. It reminds us that, as much as we value logic and order, there is magic in the controlled chaos of the creative mind. By embracing this duality, we can find new ways to achieve our goals, solve complex problems, and live richer, more fulfilling lives. The human brain is an intricate collection of interconnected parts, each playing a unique role in constructing our perception of the self. This complex orchestra of conscious and unconscious processes creates the continuous narrative of our identity. While many of these functions occur outside our field of consciousness, understanding them can be the key to unlocking our true potential. By unraveling the mysteries of unconscious processes, we gain deeper insight into our true motivators. This self-awareness empowers us to make more informed decisions aligned with our authentic goals. Through this understanding, we can navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and determination, knowing that even though we cannot control every aspect of who we are, we can significantly influence our path. Each insight into brain function is a powerful tool for personal and professional achievement. By recognizing the importance of balancing logic and intuition, control and creativity, discipline and flexibility, we can create more effective strategies for reaching our goals. This journey of self-discovery and continuous growth prepares us to face life's uncertainties with confidence and resilience, transforming obstacles into opportunities and dreams into reality.